Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here. So we have a little bit of news right here from Ian Rappaport source. Veteran wide receiver slash returner DeAndre Carter has agreed to a deal with the Chargers. The former Washington and Texans weapon lands in LA. So Washington needs to try to figure out what they're going to do at kick returner and punt returner, whether they're going to address it internally or with free agency or the draft. We're going to talk about that in today's video. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content on the road to 7,500 subscribers. So please help me get there. Also hit that like button and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video, and follow the Twitter, trying to get to 1,000 followers on there. Now let's get right into the video. So I know some people are going to be really upset that we didn't re-sign DeAndre Carter because he was a good kick returner for us and a solid offensive weapon at times, for the Washington Commanders during the season. So I know some people are going to be upset, but I do not think it was that big of a deal. Real quick, let's look at DeAndre Carter's stats this past season. He played in all every single game, had 24 catches, 296 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Like, there was a stretch of games during that winning streak where he was getting touchdowns and he was being used in the offense, and he was definitely a factor. But there were also times where he had some dry spells, and he also cost us in, I think it was the Cowboys game, where he dropped that pass at the end of the game. He also had 10 rushes for 89 yards and 1 fumble. And then kick returning wise, very good. 25.1 yards was his average, and he had that 1 touchdown against the Falcons and had 1 fumble. And then punt returning, I was talking about this during the season. Like, I did not think he was a good punt returner at all. He had 16 returns, 134 yards, 8.4 yards per return, and 1 fumble. But the thing is with DeAndre Carter, I don't think he lost a single fumble all year, but he fumbled it multiple times, or at least bobbled it a couple times, where we got, he got really lucky that, we were able to recover the fumble and, the other team didn't, because there was times where the other team could have easily picked it up, and Washington and DeAndre Carter got lucky because he should have had a few fumbles this year. And I think Washington will miss him. The Commanders will miss him in terms of his kick returning ability. He was one of the best kick returners we've had in a long, long time. Very good. I mean, over 25 yards is a great average, and didn't have that many fumbling issues as a kick returner. It was more as a punt returner and got us that touchdown. So he was good as a kick returner. It's going to be very hard to replace that. You're going to look at maybe Danny Johnson, who's on the roster. There's a couple others as well. I thought Danny Johnson was okay when he did it in 2020. He just didn't really take it out that much, and honestly, I'm a fan of not taking it out much, because now with the new rules, it's not that new, but it's a few years old, you get it at the 25 with the touchback. So you might as well, even with a good kick returner like DeAndre Carter, the average is 25.1. So why, if you can get it for 25 automatically and the average is like 23, 24, why risk getting an injury? Or I think about 1/3 or 1/4 of the times, there's a penalty on the returning team, and that really sets you back. And that's what really screws you over, is if you start at the 10 or 15. So I think kick returner is not that important unless you have a demon out there, like, a Devin Hester, a Brian Mitchell, Cordell Patterson. If you have one of those guys, then yes, of course, it's a huge asset. And DeAndre Carter was a little bit of an asset. But if you can get a guy that can, just kneel it down, or, if he feels it, he can get you to the 25, that's good enough for me. And I think Danny Johnson can do that. As a punt returner, I do not think, again, DeAndre Carter will be missed that much. I think you can throw in Dax Milne possibly. I think Dax Milne will make the roster this year as a back end of the roster kind of guy, one of the last receivers to make it. At times, he was solid for us this past year, so I definitely think that he can do some things for us on offense, but also he can be that safe kind of punt return guy that just fields it, and kind of like Trey Quinn. It's not what you necessarily want. It's not a dynamic guy, but he can get the job done and hopefully not fumble it, and that's good enough for me. If they can find someone, though, in free agency like they did with DeAndre Carter, or the draft, like find a DB or a receiver that can do it, I would absolutely be fine with that as well. So it is somewhat of a position of need, but they have some guys internally that can do it, and also some guys on the streets or some, guy in the draft that they can go after, get a guy that can go in there, especially like I said, DBs, there's some quick DBs in this draft, and receivers, those are the positions that more likely than not will be the guys returning punts and kicks for us. And yeah, so again, it's unfortunate because, I thought it would be a solid guy to bring back because he is a valuable asset as a kick returner. And if you need him, if someone goes down, he can be an asset on, the offense. But I think he's replaceable, especially as a punt returner and as a asset on offense. So let me know down below in the comments section, what do you think about Washington losing DeAndre Carter, and what are some potential options for the Washington Commanders at kick returner and punt returner? Like, are there any options besides besides Danny Johnson and Dax Milne? I mean, look at the other receivers. Curtis Samuel, I do not want him back there with, his groin injury. Terry McLaurin, no way. De'Ami Brown, maybe. Cam Sims, no. So the receivers are kind of out of the question besides Dax Milne. Maybe they draft a guy. And the DBs, kind of the same thing. William Jackson, Kendall Fuller. Benjamin St. Juste is, had injury issues as well. So I think it's probably going to have to be Danny Johnson, Dax Milne, or a drafted guy. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. Mock draft coming out tomorrow. I thought it was a great mock draft. Probably my best one so far. So stay tuned for that. Peace, guys.